Once again, we are going to continue the AI topic, and we invite to the stage Mr. Danilo Tsivok, Chief AI Officer of the Ministry of Digital Transformation and CEO of AI Center of Excellence. Danilo, the floor is yours. Let's welcome Danilo. Welcome. I'm really glad to be here and talk about innovations which change our country. It so happened that, anyway, there are a bit too many or too much of AI. We already heard about the vision introduced by Mikhail Fedorov regarding the solution or the, let's say, deployment and some projects which are being implemented now. At the same time, in addition to to our first successes we achieved, we understand that we need a clear and comprehensive road map to move towards AI. That's what for 6 months, together with the Minister of Digitalization team and with our Estonian colleagues and partners team, we have been working in order to form the draft, the temporary vision of our strategy of our country. So, very briefly, I would like to explain the top-level points which we are going to base ourselves on when developing our national AI strategy. Again, I would like to mention that now this is just a draft, but a disclaimer, you have an opportunity in the afternoon to be part of the discussion, the first floor, the next level, to take part in the discussion dedicated to AI. Okay, you know our objective until 2030 to be among the first 3 countries if we're talking about introduction of AI in the public sector. It's impossible to do without the availability of a clear strategy which would penetrate all the sectors and the branches, which will have a very clear focus of our effort. We also have these 3 main fundamental pillars. Number 1, this is the history of the introduction of deployment of AI as a whole. The history is that AI has to be introduced at the level of the country and enterprises, in the level of the personal level of our population, our citizens. It's clear that such things can be achieved only at the expense of the following. We have to move in broad front, but we have some specific targets for each sphere. We are talking about administration, for administration of state, AI. We have heard a lot. When the state is transformed from the digital into agentic, when it's proactive, when it can actually offer some services, when there is only one demand or some gap between the desire and the fact of getting the service. That's what we are working on. That's our AI system. This is the first attempt to demonstrate to the world how we can do that. Then, more coming. This is the history of how certain digital entities can provide services for the population and also interact between themselves in order to optimize all those production processes which this country has. At the same time, we have these specific, understandable industries on which we focus our attention to the maximum extent. We are talking about defense and education. Defense is clear. This is this sphere today which makes it possible to technologically, let's say, combat our enemy. Education is our foundation because the world is changing and the approach to the education is subject to changes, and those two spheres will be the priority ones if we're talking about scaling of AI in different sectors. But we do not limit ourselves to those two sectors. We're going to move ahead in the energy sector and in the agri sector and all those sectors which are included in the win-win strategy. What is also important, the next very important pillar of our strategy is high quality of the basic AI, which could be accessible for the use and development inside the country. What I'm talking about, I mean that at the same time we are maximum extent open to use the global solutions which are available today in the world market, but at the same time we are working in order to create our own models, our own AA developments, and we are talking about AA sovereignty. A very specific thing. AI sovereignty means a smart approach and combination, some kind of hybrid architecture, how to use the best practices of the top companies in the world in the tech, the same, together with our own developments. We are talking here also that we have to clearly understand and work with the Ukrainian language. That's why we create the national language model, LLM, excuse me, and we have some advantages which are related to some developments, future developments for some models for specific spheres. We can say that we have super competitive edge in this sphere. We are talking about the creation of such regulatory environments from the point of view of the future adjustment or adaptation towards the EU Act, AI Act. At the same time, we are talking about the preservation of our competitive edge, which we have today in Ukraine. Pillar 3, fundamental pillar, we are talking about the history of so-called activators, which we focus our attention on. We mean the data. First of all, you understand that data very important from the first century, and everyone actively moves towards the situation how to correctly gather or collect them and have the certain trained models. But in Ukraine, we have to create a very clear framework. We have to understand properly use the data for the general social objectives, and we're talking about the effectiveness, efficiency of our economy. Next important thing, that human capital and talents. This is the basis of basic thing, most fundamental thing. We believe that in Ukraine we have to have something which we actually have to put into our real strategy, which enables us to adapt, to take care of upscaling and rescaling of our personnel in different spheres and sectors, starting from the level of the high school and then higher school, and for any people from the street. And of course, infrastructure. We have to understand that we have our own infrastructure which we can base ourselves on. This is a sovereign infrastructure. Again, it's built from the point of view of a hybrid, using the hybrid approach when we combine the local capacities and the capacities of the tech partners. But we understand the importance of the sovereign work. At the same time, we can say that such infrastructure in the nearest future must appear in Ukraine, which offers huge opportunities in order for us to create here the necessary R&D conditions at the global level. Ukraine has to become a pilot platform in the world where they are going to create, test, and try the solutions for the world. The key foundation in the introduction or deployment, and they can simulating agent here is our direction of activation through data, using the data, talents, and definitely the access to technologies which we use in this country. All this is synchronized with the objectives in the digital agenda in order to achieve those goals which we declared to become the top 3 countries in the world. So this is very serious intentions, and understand those steps which we have to take care of in order to achieve those goals and objectives. At the same time, you can see 3 different approaches towards implementation, different initiatives as part of those foundations which I mentioned before. Number 1, we have to maximize the AI efficiency in the battlefield, maximize battlefield impact in order to achieve a specific concrete advantage there. Next step, even the focus on the battlefield in the defense direction will allow us to grow our ecosystem and actually expand this expertise to other sectors and branches. Number 3, in addition to the combination with infrastructure, with our expertise, we have to create the real or a real cool pilot platform accelerator for R&D implementation capabilities the world over. We can see a clear metrics of KPIs which we would like to use as a basis for the measurement of our effectiveness and efficiency. We understand that if we were top 3 countries by 2030, we have different indicators. We actually compare with the different indicators existing in the world market. We understand what indicators or indices Ukraine has to achieve. Number 1 is 75% of private sector as a minimum have to use AI. 90% of the population on a regular basis have to use AI in their everyday life and work. In Ukraine, not 5,000, but 50,000 experts. We are going to use this figure, and this is what we have to achieve. At minimum, 4 million certificates related to the mastering of AI. Those certificates have been issued to our Ukrainian citizens. 100% services which are provided with the help of AI agents. We completely formed the procedure and took care of the complete selection of the open data, which enable us, given certain conditions, to create necessary framework and to use this for taking this or now solution. We have our own infrastructure which can ensure up to 200 million GPU hours for the Ukrainian researchers in the AI sphere. As a minimum, in Ukraine, we have 500 AI companies which are trying to enter the global market. This is a very short overview of our draft version of our strategy. We have a lot of work to do ahead of us. I mean, once again, I would like to invite you to continue our discussion after lunch break on this second floor, on the 3rd level of this building. We are going to have practical approach to that. Let's create future together and build this digital state. Thank you.